One day, guys, one day we're gonna have the Pokemon X and Y remakes. Now, they are definitely many years away. Like, I'm serious. Maybe like the Switch 3 or the Switch 4 if they even go that far, which I'm sure we're gonna have a different console by then. Like, I don't think that they're gonna have a Switch out, but you never know. I mean, think about it. We have a PlayStation 1 through 5. So, I don't think it's far-fetched to say that we could have a Switch 1 through 5 as well. But when we do eventually get to the time where we could have an X and Y remake, I'm just wondering, like, what the heck could they actually do? Because remakes obviously aren't all the time. Typically, it seems like we have about like one Pokemon remake per console. So the Switch 2 is probably only going to have one remake, which is going to be the Gen 5 remakes. I've made videos about this before, I don't know if they're going to do Black and White remakes and Black and White 2 remakes on the same cartridge, maybe like do Black and White remakes, and then the next year drop a DLC for those games that give us the Black and White 2 remakes, because Black and White and Black and White 2 are different games. And for the X and Y remakes, there are definitely a lot of things that they could actually add to the game, and the first thing that comes to my mind is Southern Kalos. I made a whole video about this topic as well, talking about like Legends ZA, how we could maybe even have a Southern Kalos area in a DLC for ZA. Even though that is pretty unlikely, I would still love to see it. But I feel like an X and Y remake could totally give us that Southern Kalos region, which if you don't know, I'm pretty sure there was like a leak that came out where we were supposed to have Southern Kalos in X and Y originally. And for years and years, we've all speculated about Southern Kalos, like what could have been there, what the games would have been like if we actually did have Southern Kalos, and there is no better way to give us Southern Kalos than through an X and Y remake. What's interesting too is like X and Y were like the first kind of 3D Pokemon games, not like 3D open world style, but definitely 3D. So it will be really interesting to see exactly how they remake it. We could have a demake where like they make the game into like the OG style Pokemon games, like the first couple of generations. But then again, it's like, I don't know if they'd really do that for X and Y. I could totally see them doing that for like Generation 9 though. But for Gen 6, I could probably just see them just going with a more advanced like open world kind of style game for the remakes. Like make the Kalos region one big kind of open world area. Obviously, I still think they would have like, Route 1, 2, 3, whatever it may be. And those areas would be like a pretty much linear playthrough kind of style, but like when we reach every single city, I think the map will be pretty big. And now here's the thing, Legends ZA is Lumio City only, right? Which the map of Lumio City in this game is going to be huge. So theoretically, if you're really thinking about it, if we ever do get X and Y remakes, which there is a possibility that they don't do X and Y remakes, but I don't see why they wouldn't do an X and Y remake. I feel like it's in their best interest to remake every single Pokemon game eventually. And like I said, if we do even get these X and Y remakes, they're probably going to come out in like the 2030s, like the year 2030 something, like 2035, I don't know. Actually, now I'm thinking about it, maybe even a little bit later than that. But yeah, anyways, going back to how the map of Legends ZA is Lumio City, and Lumio City is a pretty big map, or at least it's going to be a pretty big map. That means in the Pokemon X and Y remakes, when we reach Lumio City specifically, would they just like allow us to explore the entirety of it like how we are in ZA, or would they make the map smaller? You know what I mean? If that makes any sense, because we're going to be used to having Lumio City specifically be a huge area. And now if we do get these X and Y remakes, the game is going to be able to be huge because it's going to be on some future tech that we don't even know exists yet, right? So whatever console is going to be released on is going to be able to run way bigger games. So I think it would be possible for like when we reach Lumio City that the entire map could be the size of Legends ZA basically. Obviously add like new caves, new forests, new towns, new cities. Like in Black and White 2, it's the exact same map as Black and White, but we had access to a bunch of like new little cities, which is exactly what I think they would do with the X and Y remakes. And I know Black and White 2 are not remakes, I'm just saying because it's the same map. Remakes are always supposed to have additional content, which I know Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl didn't really add much to the game, but X and Y are the games that brought us Mega Evolution. So they'd probably just bring back Mega Evolution again. I don't know if they'd give us new Mega Evolutions or what they would do, but imagine like they swapped out Mega Evolution for like a different battle gimmick. Now that would be kind of interesting, but I kind of would just rather have Mega Evolution in the game if it is a Generation 6 game. I really would hope they would add Kalosian variants, which I'm sad we're not getting any in Legends ZA. I'm definitely a little bit disappointed in that. At least the leaks are saying that, we still could. It's definitely possible that they could have changed their mind and that they could be giving us regional variants in the game, but since we're getting all these new Mega Evolutions in Pokemon Legends ZA, it'd be cool to have like some more lore about just like the past, I guess, of AZ, Eternal Flower Floette, maybe the Ancient War, more flashbacks, memories and stuff like that. Maybe add like a battle frontier or like some battle masons or something like that. Obviously, some like battle championship would be awesome. I know we're kind of getting that in Legends ZA, which would be kind of cool if they did something like that with a X and Y remake. And the name for the game could be like, I don't know, Pokemon Eternal X and Infinite Y or something like that. The remakes always have such a cool name. I can't wait to see what they look like. But once again, the X and Y remakes are so far ahead of time. I just thought it'd be kind of cool and interesting to bring up the topic of like, what could it actually look like? It definitely would be more of a challenge to remake Pokemon X and Y because there's just so much more to the game compared to like, you know, Gen 1 through 4. No shade on Gens 1 through 4. Amazing, amazing games. But a remake of Kalos region could really blend like open world, legend style storytelling, you know, Scarlet and Violet's open world exploration with like the X and Y style. I don't know, it'd be really cool. I think they could really expand on a lot of things that they weren't able to expand on in the original games. But anyways, let me know your thoughts about this. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.